Now to an emotional day of testimony in the Sean Diddy Combs trial. A former assistant says Combs sexually assaulted her on multiple occasions. We want to welcome back Neama Rahmani. Always great to see you, former federal prosecutor. You've been following this case very closely. Let's start at the beginning. That ex-assistant delivered critical testimony this week. What stood out the most to you?
Mia was an incredibly strong witness, Michelle. She's the fourth of the executive assistants to testify against Combs, and probably the most powerful because not only did she corroborate the accounts of the previous witnesses, she was a victim of her own. And she talked about some of the assaults on Cassie Ventura, the infamous assault at her home where Combs allegedly threw her against a bed frame and cracked her skull open, according to Mia. Really, it was a really big gash over her eyebrow that required her to go to a plastic surgeon. She talked about that. She talked about the assault at Prince's house during one of his parties. Cassie snuck out to go to the party against Combs' wishes, and Combs went there, chased after her, and Prince's security had to intervene to save her. This was the testimony, if you recall, where the makeup artist said that Cassie suffered a busted lip, a black eye, knots on her head. So she corroborated that testimony. And then also in Turks and Caicos, where Cassie was threatened and then she ran to the beach and actually had to swim out to the sea. So all that was consistent with the prior testimony. And of course, the very disturbing allegations that she was sexually assaulted herself, Mia.
Now, the details of this case we've been talking about have been just so graphic, and I find myself wincing at times hearing some of the details. Do we have any insight as to how all of this is landing with the jury?
I think it is pretty powerful. I've been communicating regularly with reporters in the courtroom, and some of them have told me, you know what, obviously they're trying to get a sense of the jury, right? Who's, pro prosecution, pro defense. They said, listen, even some of the jurors that they thought may be pro defense jurors that may be skeptical of these allegations, when Mia was testifying yesterday, they had their heads down. I mean, it was so graphic. I mean, there was an audio recording where Combs was yelling at Cassie and he was allegedly beating her at the time. Obviously, that was very powerful. Of course, we've seen the 2016 hotel surveillance video, but it's just been a very strong week for the government. Obviously, when you're handling trials as a prosecutor, any type of lawyer, you really want to start strong and end strong. Sometimes in these middle days and weeks, you tend to have witnesses that are a little bit less compelling, but I think Mia has been a very good witness so far. Of course, she's being cross-examined as we speak, so we'll see how she holds up on cross.
Some are wondering whether Combs should take the stand to defend himself. If you listen to Suge Knight's legal advice, he did an interview on CNN. He suggests that that's what Diddy should do. What's your take on this?
Michelle has a great interview with Laura Coates. She's one of the best. I'm on her show a lot, almost as much as I'm on this show, but everyone should check it out. Here's my thoughts on whether Combs should testify. Generally speaking, the conventional wisdom is it's a bad idea. It would open him to a very aggressive and grueling cross-examination. And oftentimes, when a defendant in a criminal case testifies, the entire case will come down to his or her testimony. But what I've been saying all along is if the defense is so far behind when the prosecution rests its case in chief, they may have no choice. Combs may have to take the stand in almost a Hail Mary type defense to swing for the fences, but it will be ugly because he's going to have to explain away all of this testimony and the video and the audio. It's going to be very difficult for him to do so.
Yeah, that is a lot to explain. Neama Rahmani, former federal prosecutor, thank you so much for joining me today.
Of course, Michelle, have a great weekend. Talk
You
soon.
too. We'll be right back.